YouTube has recently announced that they will have harder restrictions on some features, as in needing 4,000 watch hours and 1,000 subscribers. As somebody who's been kept around 950 subs perpetually, it's particularly offensive to be not only so close to clearing the benchmarks, and even worse when the increased standards is because of some popular jerk whose malicious videos got into trending in the first place. Something I have noticed, by the way, is that there is a lot of hyped up demand for sub as a result of this. Now, there are problems with sub that it wouldn't involve actual interest from either party. Honestly, however, the ridiculous sub count demand as YouTube deserves to be put at fault. Let's ignore the stupidity that is making yet another popular jerk as popular as he is to begin with. That is being beaten to death because YouTube won't learn their lesson there. What I am going to focus on is the 1,000 subscriber requirement. The old requirement for the features was simply to have 10,000 views total over, I believe, the past year. Some people have managed to clear that recently, and then this comes up. Naturally, there's a lot of complaints about how YouTube is making sure that the rich get richer, even though the rich pull scummy behavior. This is where I get the complaint. YouTube has made the minimum number of subscribers overly strict. Why 1,000? And don't say it is really 962 subs, but 1,000 sounds more ominous. It should have been something like 500. The idea is to make sure that these popular people get in line when they can't, like banning agents. Wait, how do these people get popular anyway? They probably would just get their subs all over again. Meanwhile, creators who failed these new, ridiculous standards, either as proof that the popular thing isn't always right, or on godforsaken technicalities, if not both, are at risk of losing things like being able to post videos that last longer than 50 minutes. Okay, why? May I point out, for example, that the whole point of the Area 7 segment in my Metroid Samus Returns no melee counter run lasting 24 minutes is to showcase why I get tired enough to confuse the laser tails of the third Omega Metroid and nearly get caught by them as a result. Having to return to the old days of having to split videos up just because of some time limit is going to leave a disjointed mess. YouTube! Your overly strict requirements for people to be getting anywhere without relying on popularity are just fanning the flames of rebellion. Rebellion that is taking the form of the sub to subbing. That's the problem. You manage to encourage increasingly more selfish behavior, and you do it by helping selfish people in the first place. The restrictions innately don't encourage quality, they just help popular jerks get to keep people under their oppressive thumbs. If you're not going to touch the repeats of a guy who would disrespect the dead, then I get to call you out when I also have stories to tell about the advanced source communities and how they will, for example, celebrate a guy who mercilessly mocked Matthew Pike, the victim of a lust-induced murder, with a Christmas song edition. I'm left wondering why mockery of suicide gets to be so popular at all, while things like my Metroid Samus Returns no melee counter run isn't even given much of a chance at all, as shown by how too many videos on the playlist barely get into double digits in view count. Is that? Oh, and gaming communities, don't think I'm not calling you out as well, because your lack of loyalty is why I'm having to deal with that god-awful technicality business to begin with. If I had just a few extra subs, I'd be clear the benchmark. But no, you want to complain when I provide advertisement even when there's clear appeal. If you want proof of your disloyalty, my Metroid Samus Returns no melee counter run stands as that with the limited view counts on a multi-layered self-imposed challenge for a game designed to be hard enough. Oh, but wait, it's not a speedrun. Okay, if that's your excuse, first off, YouTube has a 2x speed up. 2x speed option if you're not worried about boring segments. And may I also point out that at given points, the length is the freaking point, such as with the Omega Metroids in Area 7. Really, the not a speedrun excuse is little more than you, gaming communities, being so overly interested in speed. I haven't forgotten when, as a kid, my dad would take me on hiking trips and I would run down the trail to get the whole thing over with. I have a lot to say thinking about it, and believe me, if I had somebody I could trust enough about the details, I absolutely would. But, alright, people will just want to call me a shallow twit on any flimsy excuse that they can get! Give me a break! No, I'm sorry, but whatever happened to the lessons taught by fables like the tortoise and the hare? Better yet, why should speech be so dominant in games when that just invites unhealthy gameplay where everyone just camps each other out because of touch of their stupidity? That doesn't reward playing by heart. That just rewards overthinking. So we want games to reward body advantages without any consideration for intelligence or morality? Excuse me? That's just giving power back to the bullies that gamers have complained so much about. Even worse, the neo-bullies would be obvious rejects, suggesting karma to be outright complicit in their garbage. That's a big problem with gaming communities in general as they stand, that they are just telling others to just enjoy the show, even when it comes at others' expense, or that they'll gladly do any things at others' expense to prevent them from enjoying the show, period. They just want everything to be as loud, flashy, and trashy as possible, even though games are going to be loud and flashy on their own. And all these people add is the trash. That's why they'll say, get good, to keep justifying that bad gameplay, actually knowing it is bad. They don't care how talent is achieved as long as they can control it. YouTube pulls the same garbage too, come to think of it. Ultimately, YouTube and gaming communities both need to stop favoring the big names on arbitrary and start cleaning up their standards.